Today I'm talking with Dr. Roberta Shaler. She's a relationship crisis consultant, and I'm very happy to be talking to her because relationship is one of those things that SoloMoms might find a challenge at times. So welcome, Dr. Shaler.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Sure. Would you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do and why you do it?
Sure. Well, as a relationship crisis consultant, I help people successfully navigate the journey from recognizing to recovering and rebuilding after toxic relationships and emotional abuse. So I work with the partners, the exes, the adult children and siblings of people who have been raised by people I call hijackals or are in relationship with these people. And why I do it? Well, I had 2 hijackal parents. I'm an only child. So yay, I got the full load from both of them. And then I went on and thought, I need to get some help.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any help. In a small town, people would say, oh, your parents are wonderful. Yeah, you should be at my house.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
So if you've had that kind of upbringing, what happens is that you don't recognize that your picker is off. So you pick somebody like them to marry and have children with, and then subsequently divorce and co-parent with, and woohoo,
Yeah.
that was great. And so I ended up as a mom with 3 kids with very little help, and got a PhD working full time. So why I do what I do is I have intimately walked through it. I have the PhD in psychology to talk about it with authority, and I've dedicated myself to helping people with that problem.
Wow. So you've been through it in many ways, not just your parents, but your spouse as well.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
yes.
Well, I'm glad you're here. So, the hijackals, I think I understand who they are. So tell me about those people and specifically talk about how you can detect them, because we as women, sometimes our radars are off regarding that.
Yeah. Well, especially if you've had them in your home.
Yes.
Your radar will be particularly off. So I created the term hijackal because I believe that too many people are going to the internet and saying, I think my partner is a narcissist or a sociopath or a psychopath. And those are clinical mental health designations and diagnoses. And you're not equipped to do that. And it's not a good idea. But we can talk about the patterns, traits, cycles, and behaviors of people. And then I thought, all right, let's have a name for that, because we don't need the clinical diagnoses. We need help for where we are with these people. So that's when I created and trademarked the term hijackals. So hijackals are people who hijack relationships for their own interests and purpose, and then relentlessly scavenge it for power, status, and control.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they're really hard to spot in the beginning, Jen. They're like, oh, so nice. Like you feel you've died and gone to heaven and you've met your soulmate because they're chameleons. They read you. They see, oh, she wants this. She likes this. This will make her happy. And they're in a hurry. They're really in a hurry to woo you and get you to move in, marry them, or have a baby. And they'll say things to you like, I know we just met, but I know we're going to be together forever. Let's not waste time. And what they're really saying is, I don't want to waste time being this nice person. So could we get this over with so I can end up having somebody to control? And so a big red flag is people in a hurry. And then when you listen to them talk, in the beginning, they'll be very interested in you. But, hold on. Wait, and don't sleep with them because that's what they're looking for too. That they feel like then they have some kind of intimate connection with you, and observe them, because they're going to always have to win in every conversation. They need to be right. They will find things to find fault with in you. They will blame you for things. You will say something, I prefer this, and you say, well, normal people don't prefer that. Right? And so you will just get like one red flag after another that will show up if you're watching for them. But if you don't know them, then it's important. Like I have a video home study course called Seeing the Cycles, so that it takes you in depth, and it has all kinds of questions to answer in depth to find out, do you really see the cycles? Because if you don't, it's really easy for them to totally take you over, and you've got your head in the stars, and you think that you've met the perfect person. Really what they're doing is just increasing your vulnerability, getting you to talk so they can use it against you later.
Yeah, they turn on the charm, and they hit you where you're most vulnerable too, because, they may be trying to give you help where they can't even help themselves, but they will go above and beyond in the first little while to treat you good and give you stuff and help you out. And you as a solo mom, you want that help because you're only thinking about your kids. You're not even thinking about yourself, and they just kind of just reel you in, right?
Well, yes, it's such a relief to have somebody who will help and who will take an interest and who will be present and share, just share the time or the dinner table with you. And so they feel like they've got one foot in the house already, so don't do that. And don't introduce these people. Don't introduce anybody to your children for at least 3 months. Don't let them anywhere near your children, whether they're a good guy or not. But don't do that. It confuses your children.
Yes, definitely. Wow. We are having conversation, and I'm very grateful for this one. It's a big thing with us. So tell us, in your relationships, in the co-parenting part of it, how can we, well, first of all, let me backtrack to the parents, because that's where it starts, right? Your parents are that kind of, they're worse than helicopter parents in that they're they've gone to control now, right? Is that how it works? How can we avoid being, like our parents in that respect?
Well, first of all, really good practice, Jen, is to set boundaries with your parents. That's a really important thing to do. Once you recognize that all this stuff is going on, like someone asked me yesterday on Facebook, I found myself with this person, and people are blaming me for being with this person, but they weren't that way when I met them, right? And so people were being hard on her because she had married this person, but, they were in the chameleon phase. And I said, she didn't marry the hijackal, she married the love bomber, right? Very important. So when you're dealing with an ex, it's really important to create space and have very strong boundaries, and don't mess things up by, maybe they come over and you remember how nice it is to be intimate with them, and you do that, and then, all the boundaries go sideways, wrong messages are received. You really have to be clear when you have a hijackal ex, because they like to use you as supply. And that means they can use you as supply to abuse, but then if they get lonely, they use you as supply to come back and say, "Oh, babe, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean all those things. And by the way, can we go to bed?" And you have to be strong about that, because those are big red flags. And then I usually invite people to make a boundary to say, I won't talk to you on the phone. Anything to do with the children would be by text only. And then you have a record. You have a record of it that you can download and you can use in court if you need to. Yeah, that's a very good idea. And also, if we change our mindset from thinking about them as a person as opposed to,
think of them as the parent of your child, and make the relationship about your children. You know, because I think it's hard for us to let go, you know, because we're still grieving and we never took care of it. And so we try to mix it up with parenting.
Yeah, that's right. That's a very common thing to do. You're lonely. You have false memories in the sense that you remember the good times and not the bad times, and when they come around. And so you think, oh, maybe I was wrong. You know, maybe they're not that bad. And so you get very, very muddled in that. So if you can stick to text only, that's a really good thing to do. And to not, as you say, confuse them with a former partner. They are just strictly now the co-parent of the children.
All right. Anything else you want to share? Because I'm kind of asking you questions based on my experience. So,
no, the important thing though is to not blame yourself if you have become involved with one of these humans, because they look really good when you meet them. You know, they seem like everything you ever wanted and more, but always remember that you have all the time in the world to observe this person. And if they're in such a hurry, just say, you know, I'm not in a hurry. And can we slow down and just watch their face right then and there, you know? And then if they give you a week of not pressuring you and they start again, a big red flag again. So be very, very careful with these folks. And if you're co-parenting with them, really educate yourself about them. You know, my podcast, Save Your Sanity, there's over 230 episodes there for you. So if you need reminder to be stronger, or my YouTube channel is called For Relationship Help, FOR, Relationship, HELP. There's over 575 videos there that will, again, you know, just do a search. You know, he wants to come back home. What do I do? Now you'll find videos about those things to remind you and shore you up and say, all right, you know, I'm feeling lonely. I'm feeling overwhelmed and frustrated, looking after the children, doing it all, being mom and dad. Oh, it seems like it would be a relief. No, go online and find out why not to do that. You know, you do need to be strong. That chapter is over. And as you so wisely said, just consider that person as the other parent of your children, half of their DNA, that they want to talk to half of their DNA. And don't badmouth their father. You know, just support your children. Don't make your children into your confidant or your ally. Children are not equipped. Their brains are still growing. Our brains grow until we're 30, mostly finished at 25. You can't tell a child experiences that you're having as an adult that they have never had, nor do they have the brain capacity to deal with it. And too many single parents do. They start using their children as their friends. Yeah, definitely. And that's not fair to your children. You let them be kids. Let them love their other parent. And then be there when the other parent is poor in their ability to be a parent. Yeah, I definitely agree with that one, because, you know, although my son accused me of not sharing. I don't know who you are because you don't share your life. And I'm like, you know, you can only go so deep with a child, you know. Well, he's 26 how old is he? Soon. But yeah, well, you can share everything with an adult child. Yeah. But little children, you know, I was talking with somebody the other day, and they had a child who was 8, and she was very lonely. And so, you know, she overshared with an 8-year-old who has no understanding of relationship. All she knows is she loves her daddy. And then you know, the mother was sharing with the child things that were inappropriate. The child had no context for the information. So we just have to be really smart about that. Because they have no filter also. So you know, it's backfire. Oh no, that's the other that's the other part. Out of the mouths of babes comes what you said about daddy to daddy. Yes. Okay, so tell us more about your business. That you're a consultant, and how do I, Jennifer, get in contact with Dr. Shaler so I could
you know.
Sure. Well, I have a wonderful opportunity for anyone who's a new client. So I have a new client 1 hour full session for only $97. After that, I work in packages of 6, 12, or 16 sessions. And you find that at my website, forrelationshiphelp.com, FOR relationship, HELP.com. I also have a community there for $19 a month called Emerging Empowered. And so it takes you from wherever you are in a relationship with a parent or a partner or anybody, and through the different stages of deciding to leave or having left and needing to regain your power, all of those things available for only $19 a month. And the really good thing, Jen, about my membership program is that when you're a member, not only are there all the discussion threads and everybody over there safely off social media, but you get access to 2 Ask Me Anything group calls a month with me. And that's a very good value for $19 a month. And people can find that at joinintoday.com.
Okay, sounds good. And I'll put those links in the show notes so people can get in touch with you easily. Yes.
Sure. Great. And people are really welcome to join in because, it's great to talk to other people who know what you're going through or what you have been through. And we do want to be safely off social media sometimes, right?
Yes,
we don't want to have
definitely.
that presence showing up all the time.
So what is Dr. Shaler grateful for today?
I am grateful for the many, many letters. And I know this sounds strange, but, as a podcaster, you would know this, Jen. You speak and you don't know where those words go. So I am grateful because I received a note this weekend from someone who said, I've been listening to you for 2 years. I am now safely out of my relationship. My children are safe. And it wouldn't have happened without your podcast.
Aren't they? Yeah.
They are.
Oh, that's good. Thank you for sharing. And I won't keep you much longer, but I want to ask you one more question because of your experience and your expertise. Give SoloMoms one piece of advice today.
Oh, happy to. I want everybody, but particularly solo moms, because we're a little vulnerable, write on the inside of your forehead my formula, ABB. Okay? Right across your forehead. Always be able to see it from the inside. ABB. That stands for always believe behavior, not the words.
I like it.
People will say the words you want to hear, but always believe behavior. And then it's a big bonus if the behavior matches the words. Then you can begin to relax. But until then, always believe behavior.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Roberta Shaler, for sharing so enthusiastically with us today.
Well, I'm really delighted to be your guest and happy to talk with you anytime. I've been a solo mom for years and years and years and years and years.
Yes.
So I know a little
something
about
much.
it.